It's just past 20 past 5 on Sunday the 3rd of August. And we're feeling pretty bushed. We were down here till past 9 last night doing some bits. It's one of those dissatisfying days where we got to the end of it and it doesn't really look like we've done anything, but despite having done a lot, well, that's a bit windy. This corner here hasn't been done properly yet. That's a job I need to get to. But this section of fence here is now secured with some wire and backfilled, and the wire goes down into the ground and then kicks out towards us a bit. So that stops the bunnies digging under it. I'm probably going to put a baseboard on that as well. That was a really finicky job that took too long because I reused wire from the centre of the plots there. And yeah, it was just lots of trying to sort of staple together bits of odd wire really, but we got there. And as I said, I think I said I'm going to put a baseboard on the bottom of that, and I'm going to do a baseboard over here as well, over the wire. As you might be able to see, there's some gaps in the wire here, and that's primarily from strimming. And when I've strimmed with the taller weeds and I've been a bit too high and I've hit the wire, and my strimmer will happily go through that, unfortunately. So there's a few bits like that. There's about 3 or 4 largish gaps in the bottom. So I will put boards over that, sort of just over that sort of bottom edge of that, on both sides to protect the wire and better secure it. So these are our temporary gates. The gates will eventually be back on that second pair. So I don't know if you remember, but normally we had this gate, it was back, and we had a nice little staging area there. So we'll make the pallet on the left here, that's currently secured with a bit of wire, the second gate, because it's the same sort of pallet as this gate over here, which is an old malt pallet, as I previously mentioned, I believe. So the other big part of yesterday's job was pretty much just securing these posts properly. And hopefully they're feeling better now. What I'm not doing is I'm not showing how I'm holding it. I'm not putting much pressure on it. So what we've done is a little bit, I don't know, dodgy, wrong. I don't like using cement on an allotment, but we have put a little bit of, I basically made what's considered a C20 style mix. So 4 parts aggregate, 2 parts sand, 1 part cement. And we've pretty much just done a strip across here that pretty much bonds the posts, goes slightly around the posts, and there's some rubble in the middle, some bricks and stuff there. And I don't know if I caught it in the previous video, I think I did. There's actually a big piece of concrete in there that we dug out of the ground, where the other corner post was we started this video at, and that's got a little bit of cement either side, which basically just keeps those posts held together. So they're feeling pretty solid. I'm not going to hit them hard because it takes a little while for that sort of cement to cure. We didn't use postcrete with all its fast setting agents. So yeah, it was a harder evening of work than I envisaged really, and we were pretty bushed as a result. So Kat also did a lot of hard work, but her work was mainly weeding and eradicating lots of bindweed, especially from this plot here, but also some weeding up the back there. Anyway, we've come down today with a fairly simple task in mind, and that's some seed planting. I spent a chunk of this morning sorting seeds and deciding on some things to plant. So we're going to clear some of the unwanted stuff out of these beds. That's not that much, but it's actually those beans down there need clearing, and we might take some of that back chard off there. So we've got a little planting area there. That row there is where we put in some daikon. Under this board here is where we already put in some carrots. We're going to put a second row of carrots alongside with some some sort of coriander in between. We've got quite a bit of coriander seed which we're going to scatter around various places, and some other bits in here. I'll dig them out and go through them in a moment. We're a little bit buffeted by the wind right now. And that's about it for today really. We're just going to get those seeds done. We did our hard work yesterday and a slightly more relaxing day today. That is the plan. Let's get into the greenhouse. Of course, the audio will change. I need to tidy up this bench, it's covered in stuff. So yeah, so we sorted our seeds into a few different categories. One was plant now, and this is the plant now selection. So the plant now selection is what we're going to get in the ground today, mostly. I don't know if we'll get it all in. So there's some nice orange carrots, because the carrots we planted the other day are red, purple ones. There's a few of these Technicolor Dream carrots from Shulton Seeds. Not a big fan of them. Mostly they were white, and there's just a handful of seeds. So we'll just mix them in and we'll plant them together. A bit of Mediana spinach, which we'll be planting out in a bed somewhere, just a strip of that. And some rockets, some Apollo and some wasabi rocket. This is quite an old packet of parsley seeds, so we're just going to find a couple of spots and just bung some in the ground. If it germinates, it does. This is some cima de rapa, so we'll find a spot to put that in, so the pigeons can have a field day probably. We'll cover it. And then I've got what looks like a bit of a coriander overload here, but these confetti, I'm not a big fan of that stuff, so we're just going to bung it in the ground. It grows or it doesn't, kind of thing again. The same with this calypso, not a big fan of that variety. This is really old coriander seed. Again, we're just going to dump a bunch of that in somewhere. And this is our newer coriander seed, which we'll put a more reliable row in next to the carrot of that we know we're going to get, because we know that grows okay. And again, these are some old spring onion seeds. We'll put a row of them in somewhere, and they grow or they don't grow, but it gets rid of that packet without just throwing it away. Alright, the parsley already covered, and this is the last one, the München beer radish variety, actually bred for its long crispy pods. Now you can eat the pods of any radishes and they're right nice little tasty crispy treats, but this variety has been bred specifically for the size and crispiness. I mean, they're all crispy, but it's bred specifically for its pods. I guess the length of them is the key thing it's been bred for, and maybe the volume of them. It makes a lot of pods on one plant. So that's our seed sowing plan for today. I don't know if we'll get much else done. I'm pretty bushed, like I said, probably more than once already in this video. If we get anything else done, that's just a bonus. So depends on if I kind of like find a bit of energy, I guess. not feeling like I've got much. I've not done nothing today. I've cooked a bunch of berries. We had 1.9 kilos of berries that have mainly been harvested from the tunnel over here. Mostly raspberries, though Kat had also harvested a few black currants. That's pretty much all Kat's hard work. She's been grabbing pretty much a bucket of raspberries every time we're down here, and they've been building up in the fridge, and I thought I'd better do something with them before they all went mouldy. So they've been cooked down with some sugar. 1.9 kilos of berries and a kilo of sugar, and hopefully we'll do something useful with that. It's been sieved, and now I just have a big pot of sweet fruity paste, syrup, something in between, I don't know. Yeah, we've got the compost building up here and cooking away quite nicely again now that we've put some new material into it. So that's always good to see. I'd like to see that pin up there, because the higher it is on there, the better it's doing at killing the weed seeds. And every time we turn this, we hope to sort of distribute that and get the heat into more of it and kill more of the seeds. That's the goal with the compost. Hot to sort of sterilise the seeds that are in there. Anyway, we better crack on and actually do something rather than just sit here filming some video. I don't know how long this postcard is going to be this week, because I didn't film anything yesterday because it was really full on, yeah, we just didn't capture any footage. It didn't even take a photo, I think, and I haven't prepared the last week's video yet. So the length of this video will kind of depend on how much work I get done on Wednesday, I guess, because I tend to be rolling in some weekend and some Wednesday footage now. But yeah, now we got some tomatoes ripening. A couple more of these Vesuvius varieties here. They're very tasty. And some of the bigger ones are ripening too. So yeah, we've got some good tomato action happening. It's nice to see. Every now and you can look around, you see these little pops of red amongst the green. It's great to see. And oh, if you can see over there, that's one of our melons is looking pretty good. Look at that. That's pretty nice. And we've even got some capsicums ripening up down here as well. There's a brownish variety down there, if you can see that in there. And then there's this reddish variety right here. So yeah, we've got good things happening in the polytunnel. Nice little cluster of jalapenos on that little chili plant. That's the chili chump jalapeno. These pears are growing nicely. I think they've they've sort of had a good result out of being thinned, and the tree has been putting lots of energy into the remaining half or less than half of the fruit that I left. It is kind of crazy to think that there was twice as much fruit on these trees before. And yeah, what we were going to do today was prep this area. This all needs flattening out so that the gates, which will be on those two posts and swing out towards us, needs a flat ground, because at the moment the ground raises up quite quickly. So we'll need to cut that down so we can have a thick layer of wood chip. We're going to put this big concrete paver right in the middle, so that will be the sort of step as you step in. And then the bit that's beyond the gates, this bit of dirt down here, we're going to get a bit of sand over that, level it out, and put some grass seed in there, because we want a nice little grassy entrance. If the grass fails to work, we'll just toss some wood chip on top of it. But yeah, the potatoes are doing okay now that we've protected the plot from the suspected muntjac potato nibblers. And oh, there's something else worth showing off over here. These beans are growing, and you know what I've done? I've forgotten to bring the... I got some netting to put on these for the beans to grow up. I've forgotten it. I've forgotten it every day for the last week that I've come down here. Oh well. Yeah, the thing I wanted to show over here is this absolutely ridiculous butternut style pumpkin. That is... I mean, it's hard to capture how big it really is on the video, but it's a long boy. Okay, right, let's get some work done. So we've done some clearing, and in the end of the bed with the chard on it, the older chard of the two lots of chard we have, we've whacked in 2 rows of the Munchenbeer radish, and then 2 fast crop, hopefully, rows of rocket in here, 2 different types of rocket, Apollo and wasabi. That's next to this row of daikon, and we do have the daikon coming up that we planted the other day. So the radishes will get quite big, so the idea is that hopefully we'll get a leaf crop out of these rows here, whilst the radish on either side grow up and big. The seed pod radish get massive, so they'll end up dominating this end of the bed pretty much with their seed pods, which is fine because this chard will be going at some point, because I don't know if you can see it from here. Yeah, and we've got chard over in that bed there behind me. So that's our second lot of chard there, and this chard here is the first lot as such. We also have some chard at home, and we'll probably plant some more chard. There's always chard happening. So yeah, just getting some starts on these sowings before we head home. Flipping around to right behind where I was sitting a moment ago, we have some different drills of stuff going in here. So that's the coriander green aroma right in the middle of the screen there, slightly deeper. We generally have started planting coriander next to our carrots. I don't know if it keeps the carrot fly away, but it's a thing. Here there's a shallower space with some organic resistor fly carrots on, plus the remainder of those amazing Technicolor dream carrots I was not impressed by. Then there's a bit of a gap where this random little parsley is living, and then we've got a whole bunch of coriander in here. So that's the remaining of the Calypso packet, plus a whole bunch of this slow bolt, which is a very old seed. So this sort of is like, maybe it'll germinate, maybe it won't, not too fast. If we get some coriander, that's great. And then here is the main kind of crop for this area at the moment. Because that once it grows, it should sort of cover that whole zone pretty much. And that's the mediana spinach in there. And then we've got another row of old coriander seed, which is a combination of the confetti there and more of that slow bolt. That was a big packet of seed. That's really old, that one. Does it have a date on it? So by February 2019. That's pre-COVID seed. But yeah, so that's ancient seed. We'll see what happens. But the main thing is our mediana spinach there and our carrots there. And that's good coriander, but the coriander is pretty much just an intersown bonus here. Right, what we're going to do with these beds is we're going to just sieve some well-rotted horse compost over the top, and then we're good to go. Job done. So, coriander, carrots, coriander, and the sneaky parsley I added in there along the parsley row where that existing parsley is. Mainly to get some seedlings to distribute elsewhere, I think. Then we've got the old coriander, then we've got the mediana spinach, and then we've got more old coriander. Over here we've got the Munich beer radish, and then a couple of different rockets, and then a big patch of cima rapa with spring onions either side, and this has all been covered with some sieved well-rotted horse manure. And we wish them all luck, and we hope they grow. So obviously today a big thing that's happened is clearance, and I also got all that sort of really mildewy old borage out of this corner to get some light into the rows, and I noticed that my hollyhocks are still alive down there, so that's a good thing. These are black or very dark purple hollyhocks. I'm hoping they'll overwinter and grow next year for flowers. There's a couple more down here, as you might be able to see. And the good old artichoke is looking good, or cardoon, whichever it is, we're not sure. So yeah, lots of general weeding, and this area is looking pretty good now, until the weeds grow again, of course. I even did some weeding up the side here, and Cat has been busy over in the front corner. We try not to talk about that a bit too much because it has been overgrowing with weeds, but it is no longer overgrowing with weeds. Cat has cleared all this out, so that's looking better, slightly less embarrassing. So there's this corner here, which we don't really have an idea of what to do with yet. We're not sure what to do with that corner. Obviously the fence needs fixing and finishing down there, and that needs filling in and stuff. But yeah, that's... oh look, there's a little bird, it's a robin. Don't know if you saw that, but the robin just went straight through my line of sight there. Right, anyway, Cat is harvesting even more raspberries up the back. I just made a big pot of, I don't know, sauce with 1.9 kilos of raspberries and black currants. And yeah, anyway, it's gone past 8 PM. We've been here a lot longer than I really wanted to be. The bugs are biting me, and I just want to go home. One of the problems we have with these Sunday allotment trips is that I tend to overdo it, end up very tired, and struggle to get up in the morning, which is not great because I've got to go to work in the morning. So really, for the sake of work and everything, I need to not do that. So we may be trying to switch to Saturdays. We'll see, or at least just trying to be earlier. I don't know. We're not very good at earlier. We're pretty generally late starters, I'm afraid, but we tend to be up very late as well. So that's something that needs to change. And look, that pigeon, he's always there looking at our plants, wanting to eat everything. Anyway, okay, time to pack up and go home.